Welcome to Ride Along Live, guys. Welcome. How you guys doing? I'm all, you know, I'm all grenaded out today, guys. And nobody more grenaded than me today. I don't care who you are. You know, you're not more grenaded than me today. Not ever. Welcome to the ride, guys. And today is the day. Yes. Dennis, how you doing? Big up yourself. Shante, Kelsey, Charles, I didn't see you. Good evening to you, riders, and riders. How are you doing? Jackie Chaitan, how you doing, my friend? Let me send out a link here real quick, guys. I got to send out a link. There you go. All right. Island Gal, thank you so much. Toronto Inside, thank you so much. Guys, so today we are going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about SPICEMAS in general sense. Everything that happened for SPICEMAS. This is a postmortem because we just concluded one of the greatest summer festival of all time, right? Hands down. It was remarkable in many, many instances. Some might say, not just the fact that it was one of the safest events, right? But the turnout record, I don't know if it hit record breaking, but there was a lot of people on the island. So it means good for tourism. It means good for vendors. It means good for everybody, party promoters. Everybody succeed when you have a huge turnout like what happened in SPICEMAS this year. It was an amazing, exhilarating experience by all who witnessed it, all who was here. So today, as I said, we're going to do a postmortem conversation on the whole thing. Hey, Evelyn, how are you doing? Big up yourself. And to join me in this conversation is radio personality, media personality, a good friend of mine. You've seen him countless times on Rock the Box and other programs as well all over the world. Is Mr. Joseph Cador. JC, how are you doing? Join us for this first part because Janice is going to be joining us shortly. JC, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm wonderful. I want to say thanks for the opportunity to be part of your platform. Now, normally when I'm in the Rock the Box, it's me entertaining you.
Yeah.
No, it's you entertaining me. Yeah. And I want to say thanks and good afternoon to all of the riders, wherever they are, those here at home and across the region. It's a pleasure being here with you, Junior.
Well, listen, Joseph, we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to get to. Uh,
Right.
uh, now joining us on the live also is Janice, very good friend, and she's no stranger to the ride either. Janice, how you doing?
Hey, good. Mama, what's going on?
Normal. Janice, I like the hair. I
Hey,
like the hair.
Joseph.
That's a face that I recognize. Hello, Jan. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute. How are you?
Yeah. I'm good, love. I'm good. It's good. It's good to see you looking all dashing and radiant.
Oh well, it's your carnival is over, so it's my happiness time now. We had Tabanca for the last few weeks, so it's my time now. So I'm all smiles. We're looking forward to everything we missed in Grenada coming up to New York.
Well, I'm not sure what Tabanka you were talking about, but I good.
Yeah, yeah. Let me tell you, Joseph. What people don't what a lot of people don't understand is that we're here and we underestimate. We, yeah, check. Are you guys hearing me?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
I don't know, like something dropped in my headphone. Anyway, we underestimate the tabanca that we give some of our friends that are watching from overseas. Oh my God, this headphone just decided to conk out, guys. Hold on. Let me fix it. Oh, I know why. Sorry. All right,
No,
there
but
we go.
for real,
No,
the struggle is real. When you're not in Grenada,
yeah,
especially, I mean, there are some people who leave Grenada and it doesn't matter to them. But when people like us who love 133 square miles leave Grenada,
yeah.
and every oil down we see cook. Although we have breadfruit here, you know, we have more pigtail than you and everything, but
Of course.
it's just a vibe being in Grenada and watching the oil down cook on the fireside and you sitting. No, for real, it's
Yeah,
Ah,
different.
Joseph, that is
It's
what it is. It's
different.
tabanca.
oh,
It's
that
tabanca.
kind of Tabanka.
So what
Yeah.
tabanca? So Joseph, what tabanca you thought I had?
No,
I
that is
don't
Well,
know, man. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't
hold
thinking.
on. Let me give you the best Alma boy voice. Joseph,
tabanca.
eh.
Well, I wasn't thinking about that kind of Tabanka, but I
Oh,
wasn't sure in what context you were
Joseph big
referring to Tabanka.
that is the
Big woman
tabanca.
big woman like me.
Johnny doesn't catch the bank excessive. Johnny doesn't catch the bank. It's because we posting and we showing mango and things that they get in the banker.
Big
All
woman
right.
Oh,
like me,
that kind.
Joseph. Ah,
Yes.
I know you're going past that. It's good seeing you. What if it's that kind of Tabanka you're talking about? Then I would agree with you wholeheartedly.
Right.
I mean, for those of us, there are things we honestly take for granted because we are here, so we don't
exactly.
really get to appreciate it. We take it. A guy says he's cooking an oil down, and we say, "Okay, cool breeze, small
Or
things."
just being at the beach hanging out with some friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that
Yeah.
The
normally.
water here greener now, Joseph.
Yeah.
Listen, there was a lady that was on social media that came from Trinidad, and she was talking about the Grenada experience,
Yeah.
and she was like, "Wow." She goes to the water, she looks down, and she could see her toes. She could count the sand, and very often that is an experience that we do not very often we slight it as Grenadians. We say to people, "Come to Grenada," but even we for ourselves, we haven't yet fully appreciated the luxury, that timeless luxury that Grenada as an island, Janice, the 134 square miles, it offers us a real gracious experience to experience heaven on earth,
Yeah.
an experience like no other.
That's true.
And
Well,
for you to appreciate it, you have to be away from
be
it
away
for a
from it.
while. Because
Be away from it.
Correct.
there are people
Yeah.
in Grenada who haven't gone to the beach in months.
Yeah.
Hands up, me. I haven't been to the beach in years.
What?
Excuse me?
That is
What it
They
crazy.
need
is?
to put you they need to put you out of the island.
That is
I mean
Well, that's
crazy.
okay.
literally put you out.
Guys, let's jump on this because this last celebration, this carnival that just concluded here, right? Many would say was by far one of the better carnivals in terms of the pull that it had. We had a bigger soca monarch than previous years. I don't know if it was a record-breaking soca monarch, but we had all the big guys, the big guns in competition back in this year. Tal Pre and you name it, and others, Dash and everybody. So that was a competition too that people came for. Everything was built up to the hype. Joseph, from your perspective, what's your take on Spice Mass 2023? Was it the hype that it was framed up or built up to be?
I want to say to you that SpiceMass 2023 was excellent. It was great. First, from the context that there was always the anticipation of the return of the beloved SpiceMass. Coming off of COVID, we saw and we got to appreciate not just in the context of whether or not you participate in Carnival, but you got to appreciate the value of SpiceMass as a product,
Right.
the effect, the impact it has on us economically, socially. I will even dare say spiritually. And I know some people might be watching me with scourge when I say spiritually, because I'm not talking about spirituality in the context of being in a church or associated with any particular religion. But
Right.
of course, you cannot separate our culture and our spirituality. And very often we try to. But I think there was people were happy that Carnival was back. Um, it was evident by the droves of Grenadians that came back home. You saw them. They were friends Janice, I have not seen for years. And these guys were like, listen, COVID taught us some lessons that the things in life we take for granted, our ability to meet, greet, socialize, jump a plane, and Janice saying, coming back home. We take those things for granted because the world has become a village. And those things, when we have them, we do not very often we get to appreciate it. And
Right.
so for a lot of individuals, they welcome Carnival. They welcome the ability to be able to just rest, take a rest from the everyday demands of work and play and education, and be able for just a short period, be able to expunge, just relax and enjoy the finer things of life.
Yeah.
Um, if you delve now deeper into other aspects of Carnival, that's a different story. But I
Right.
probably would allow as we develop the conversation,
Yeah, we'll talk
we're probably
about
going to get we're going to get
yeah.
into it.
Janice, what's your take on Spice Mass? But you were not here, but you were here at the same time because you saw everything. You was a part of everything. You conversated. You didn't miss a thing. What's your take?
Um, I to me, well, I'm a carnival. I consider myself a carnival baby.
Hmm.
I love carnival. It's one of my favorite events that happens on island, and I like the fact that people from all over the world are not just looking forward to Spice Mass 23, but are looking forward to Grenada turning 50,
Right.
which promises to be a year-long celebration. And you can see the enthusiasm. You could have seen the enthusiasm coming into this carnival.
Hmm.
Um, People are just taking a dry run for next year, I think. With the increase in prize monies for the competitions, the you could have seen the artists giving it a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we've, as you said, the return of Talbury and others in competition marks that we're doing something right.
Yes.
And maybe if the prize money increases some more, we might get Lava back in competition or Killer.
Yeah.
I mean, make it a 500,000 and vex with us is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But I mean, people from all over the world looking at Spice Mass with almost envy, not envy in a bad way,
Yeah,
but when you look at the comment from Super Blue, and you look at Bungie and Nadia Batson and them reaction to our power soca and groove, we know that we're doing something
What did
right.
they say? What did they say? I
Um,
didn't see it. What they said?
Actually, Nadia posted um, some clippings from the
Uh
competition,
huh.
and Super Blue tagged Fan under that post, asking her when are we going to return to the splendor that is now Grenada's soca.
Wow.
So I mean, not envy in a bad way, not jealous in a bad way, but you know that when Super Blue could be asking this, how this must have hurt him. That power soca in Trinidad is no more.
True.
So we are doing something right, very very right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we need to keep building on that momentum. We need to keep encouraging our artists. We need to keep making it financially viable for them, because I'm in the middle of Flatbush and Church Avenue, so you know the
Yeah. Yeah.
noise.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but when we're able to sell a product like this, which comes down to one of my disappointments that
Right.
we'd get to. I'm hoping you'll give me an opportunity to speak on that.
Yeah. Of course.
How they hogged Spice Mass
Right.
from a streaming point of view, from an embargo point of view. I have
Hold
a
on. I think
problem
I
with that.
lost
So
Janice. I think we lost you. Joseph, are you hearing
well, we
her?
did.
Yeah, I'm hearing Janice. I'm
Oh,
hearing
hold on.
and
Hold on.
seeing her.
Okay. So it's my connection. Go ahead,
You're
Jan.
not
Go ahead.
you're
Just
not seeing me.
my connection.
Okay, so Junior, it's probably you. But when you think about these harsh embargoes, they treat Spice Mass as though Spice Mass is Cuba, man. For Carnival 2023, you can't treat
Okay.
Spice
For
Mass
some reason, I'm
is
not
Cuba.
hearing you guys at all. But that could be on my end. Hold on one second, guys. Hold on one second. Let me just figure this thing out. Guys, you're watching right along live. Just give me a thumbs up if you're able to hear Janice and Joseph on the live, or if you're just my end, I'll work on fixing it on my end. Just give me a thumbs up if you're hearing them properly, so we could continue the conversation. I can fix my end. Just give me a thumbs up, or just tell me if you're hearing them while she was speaking. It's okay. It's on my end. All right. Okay. Cool. So Janice, go ahead. I'll sort out on my end and see what's going on. Go ahead, Janice.
All right. So I was just saying that they embargoed Carnival as though Carnival was Cuba. And I have a problem with that, because we spend so much of our personal time marketing Spice Mass from wherever we are, the world over. And then in the heat of the event, while the event is happening, and that was my one downside to all that happened. We had more upsides than downsides. So I think Carnival this year was spectacular. There's room for improvement, but it was a really really nice showing, and I think Grenada is the biggest winner in all of this.
Janice, Junior, I just want to ask Janice a question. Help me though to appreciate your whole concern about what you refer to as the embargo that was implemented and placed on Spice Mass. In what context?
Well, for example, we paid to this day. I don't think did not pay for um pay-per-view have seen even the semi-final events yet. They're not even
Okay.
up for public consumption yet. I'm talking semi-finals, soca, groove, and calypso. How are we able to sell a product when you're not even giving you're giving 30-second snippets to the people you're encouraging to come? We're planning, well, not we. They're planning to bring a cruise ship with what, 1,700, 1,400 cabins to Grenada next year for Spice Mass 24. But you're hiding the product.
Okay.
Yes, and I understand you want people to see it. I understand you want people to pay for it, but there has to be some, and I think the deadline for dropping it, you cannot release anything or post anything in length before August 30, August 31st, August 30th, I think August 30th. And here's my thing: we are a fickle people. The Carnival Wednesday morning, Grenada's radio stations return to normal programming. So soca is already being weaned out of people's minds.
Right.
So with that being said, that I don't think was handled well. That's one of the things I don't think was handled well, in terms of the length of time that they embargoed the shows for. So I mean, if the semifinals are not yet out, the finals are not available for showing.
Okay.
So
Amen.
yeah, it's rough. There are people who haven't seen anything except maybe a little bootleg stream that somebody managed to get away with, and they're shutting down accounts left, right, and center. Even if you show um your own personal stream.
Right. Well, I mean, I see that. I see the point that you're making about us. I mean, but I'm not going to even get to try to even defend the owners of those events. I'm assuming if I'm not sure.
Who are the owners of those events? Are the artists getting a piece of the royalties for this? Who are?
Well,
Are we?
I mean, you could always assume overall that SpiceMass will always remain and is supposed to be the owner of Carnival. But then the question remains whether or not what are the license agreements that's being made with other entities as it relates to the broadcast and rebroadcast of those events. Maybe I'm agreed if that's the way it is, as you say, then a further conversation needs to take place in that direction. Because I mean, it is if that's what it is, and as I'm saying, it certainly sounds frustrating.
All right,
Well,
No,
I'm back. I'm back, guys. Are you guys hearing me?
oh yes, we are.
I felt like I
loud and
missed a
clear.
lot. I felt like I missed a lot. My headphone went out and I couldn't hear anything. But I'm thinking that you guys speaking about the pay-per-view part of the program.
Yes, the embargo.
All right, the pay-per-view. Here's what I think. My thought on this is one, the pay-per-view is good for revenue generation, right? Because, and I'm all for that. If it means that more money is coming into the coffers, it's going to positively affect the artists, it's going to positively affect Spice Mass ability to do bigger, to do more things, and at the end of the day, still come back and benefit the artist. I am all for it, right? But you have to be careful because you gone are the days when we used to have the radio broadcast, the audio broadcast of Spice Mass events. We don't have that anymore. So the locals, the people who cannot afford to buy pay-per-view, or the people who live in those areas who don't have internet, they cannot participate in Carnival whatsoever. They're locked out of it, right? And then Spice Mass this year, they try so much to cocoon the whole thing. They don't even want a picture to get out. Not even
Yeah,
a picture.
that's crazy.
You see,
That is
so then
crazy.
so then it becomes like you don't even want a broadcast, not even an audio broadcast. Even I don't know if other stations paid or attempted to pay for broadcast to put it out there. They might think that that might be, that might take away from the pay-per-view. I'm not sure. But what happened to the people who don't have internet?
The
They're locked.
only person, the
And
only person that didn't report when they posted a picture was the prime minister. And I point out to them, I say, hey, the prime minister post, go and report him to social media.
Yeah, because let me show you a situation that happened in my case, Joseph, right? I
uh-huh.
was there and I was posting pictures, not videos. I was posting pictures of the Queen show. And I got a call from Spice Mass saying that I am on auto, or I should not post any more pictures. And it wasn't clear on the policy on posting pictures. Later, I found out in some way that their claim is that the picture is somehow taken away from the pay-per-view. So people who would possibly buy the pay-per-view, they are now watching my pictures and getting so much out of my pictures that they refrain from buying the pay-per-view, which is
So
a
let me ask the question though. So maybe where the conversation needs to go, because I'm trying to be all objective about it. So
right.
maybe the questions, the concern should be, and what we need to have a conversation with Spice Mass and the other entities that's involved. Really and truly, what is the policy? What is the back end policies? Who are the other players in the market?
Yes.
And what is the arrangement, Janice, that's being dealt out with them, that's allowing or forcing them to have these sort of strict embargoes? I mean, and I know for years ago, we were used, as Junior said, um, you go to the event and you can capture elements of it. For us as media entities, when you go, even we are restricted in what we can really and truly
Right.
um, put up, disseminate. And we too also have to wait until. But it's an excellent point that you've made, Janice. And because over the years, while you may assume that Carnival has grown, it has become an economic tool for the owners of it. But the caution would have to be, Janice, and Junior, if we are not sacrificing the product just at the hands of trying to make a fistful of dollars. Here's what's happening. I am home. I cannot afford, Janice, to pay for pay-per-view for whatever for Carnival.
35 US plus tax.
I thank you. That is $70+ plus. That's a geography book for my son going into Form 2.
Right.
So people now start paying they're paying the cost. Maybe what has to start happening, that you have different tiers of pay-per-view based on where you are. And you can limit it. If you are on island, fine. I'm a Grenadian. I can't afford to go to the stadium, but certainly I don't want to miss the experience of Carnival. So maybe that extensive conversation needs to take part. Because if you ask me, what has been happening, we've seen now, and if you ask me, and this sort of shifts the conversation, that I am of the personal opinion, and allow me to say, my views expressed here doesn't in any way have anything to do with the Grenada Broadcasting Network.
Right.
I want to say that clearly.
Yes.
So don't, yeah, Janice, because I know how social media is. Tomorrow they said JC said. This is me. And keep it in mind, Janice, because you know me, Janice, I'm not necessarily a person like you. You are a Carnival junkie.
Yes,
I am not.
Yes,
So
I am.
we are talking from two different perspectives here. It matters me not. But I think what we need to do, because what have been seeing a trend whereby Carnival, the traditional facets of Carnival, has been replaced, or if not, being bought over or sold over cheaply to private promoters. And guys and people are now going to decide, you know what? I am not going to a Carnival event because I could probably have more fun if I go to some little private promoter has an event somewhere where I can go, enjoy myself, and just have a ball of a time. I think it has to be an extensive conversation. Yes, we want to expand the product, but I'm not sure whether or not we have sat down and we've considered all the facets to it. Local market, when we market it, Carnival should be marketed to the niche market. First, those at home.
Yeah.
Those in the region. Others in the diaspora. Let them get a
statement. What is the mission statement of Carnival? What is the mission statement? What is the objective? I think that I don't know if that has been identified. The mission statement of Carnival.
Is there one? Are you asking for what's regurgitated, or you're assuming there is one?
I'm assuming that there's none. I don't know, right? Because I'm saying if it's money, if money is the factor.
It is a business.
It is no, it is a business.
It is a business. So we cannot take away from that.
However, though,
it cannot be at the risk of
the participants, the customers. Because unless you are saying to me that Carnival, unless that's what the intention is, Carnival is being provided to a niche market. If that is the case, then you can understand where they're going. And I agree with you. Yes, over the years, there's been calls for us to treat Carnival as a business. But in any business, you have to be able to dissect your market. What is the marketing strategy? And I am not aware that whether there is or isn't. I'm just having this conversation openly.
Right.
That you should be able to dissect your market and say, listen, okay, here's what's happening, Janice. And before you get to the heart of Carnival, there is about 100 other events that takes place and took place in Grenada to the build-up of Carnival.
Right.
They have been the traditional ones, and I'm not going to call any for fear that people think I'm getting personal, but just a legitimate concern I have as a media personnel and an individual that does not take part in Carnival. But I understand the value of Carnival. To me, there is too many private promoters that are leeching and are piggybacking off of SPICEMAS to come to Grenada and just have a ball of a time off of the work of people that's here and just want to have a good time.
Well,
the product of SPICEMAS should be the Grenadian zone.
Stick up in right there. Here's my thought on what you just said there. I think Spice Mass is not just an event or Monday and Tuesday. I think Spice Mass is everything that builds up in that within that season, right? Because you see, when if Spice Mass Corporation is having an event, say they're having Calypso finals, there are a lot of people who may travel from England and Canada or wherever. They don't like, they don't want to go to Carnival, a Calypso show. You can't force them to go. To go, if there was nothing else happening on that night, they would stay home. So I believe you have to provide options for people because nobody wants to live New York, spend $2,500 on the ticket, and come and sit down in the hotel or whatever. You have to give them option. So I say, let there be let there be options. Let there be things. Let there be competing events. Right? I have no problems with that.
But
I don't.
you cannot compete with the national events. There are some
Thank you,
events
Janice.
there are
You
some
can't compete
events
with.
that cannot have competition.
Well,
Panorama.
what's
Hey,
what's wrong
Junior,
with what's wrong with competition?
Junior, you're
Uh,
coming home for carnival and
right,
you
right,
ain't making no other plans for panorama night,
right.
whether you go or not. But you ain't
Yeah,
making no other plans for panorama night. You ain't making no other plans for Calypso Monarch night. You ain't
right,
making no plans for Soca Monarch and Groovy night.
right,
These are the national events. All the build-ups happen. And we
right.
have no problems with the build-ups happening and everybody else and everything else happening. But
Yeah,
Correct.
once it comes down to the national events,
right.
the events that are deeply rooted in our culture,
Yes.
Priority.
it cannot, it cannot be a competition with a white shoe. It
Yeah, but
cannot be a competition with a black shoe.
right, right. But check this, right? Say for instance, panorama. There are a lot of people who don't like panorama. What if that person or individuals are in the country and panorama is being kept in St. George? You're gonna force them to go? Or what if there is an event in the country? Is that competing as well?
This is not about location, Junior. We
Uh-huh.
want it. I think culturally we need to, it needs to be that this is the only thing happening. If you come home because you're a culture lover,
Right,
find a way to make a lime out of it. Find a way, and this may not be a popular statement. This may not be, a lot of people may not agree with me. But
right.
even if you don't like panorama, you and some friends go there, bring a cooler with some drinks, bring some food
Make
and
it
have a
alive.
good time because it's
Make it alive.
happening.
Yeah, it's happening, but not everybody like panorama. But
But Junior, I am agreeing with Janice. You see, because
yes,
what we do it, we've started now to we diluting the product of Spice Mass.
right,
We now inadvertently killing
right,
the product. All of the major events that are associated with Spice Mass, and I'm agreeing with Janice, should in no way, form, or fashion
right.
should I have to compete in the back of my head when there's
Yes,
a national event.
right.
It's like telling me on Independence Day there is a national parade in the national stadium,
Yes,
but some other individual is deciding to
To
have
do jab
some
jab.
party to
No
right.
play
jab jab.
jab jab
Mhm.
up in golf.
Yeah.
That cannot, and you
No, I
cannot tell
agree.
me, well, it's because I don't want to go to the national parade.
Right.
Queen
Guess what? Guess
Panorama.
what? Who invested millions to make the day happen?
Yes. Yeah, no, I agree.
It's
I agree. I
our
understand.
event.
And I
It's
It's our
understand.
event.
if it's your event and you're paying for marketing and you're paying for everything and you have all the logistics set up, why should somebody just step in and enjoy the fruits of your labor like that? I
Right.
have I have a problem with that.
But in terms of limiting events, okay, competing events, I could understand. I get where you're coming from. But in terms of limiting events, even events that does not necessarily compete with the national events, I say let there be events because that by itself will pull a certain sector of people. People from Trinidad might, or people from Guyana, people from all through the region might come for something specific, right? Limiting events, and I understand, I agree. Competing with national events, yeah, I get it, I get it. But I think that they should find a way to just have events in the country, have events in the town, have events in the villages, because it all gives
But
people that
The
accountability.
but
problem
Junior.
with that,
Uh-huh.
hold on, Joseph, one second. The problem with
Uh-huh.
that is that it's 20 minutes from St. George to Grenville.
Right,
Thank you.
It's 20 minutes. It's not like you have to drive to New Jersey or you have to drive to Connecticut 2.5 hours, 4 hours, or you're going to Virginia 5 hours to get to another event, which would be the
Right.
determining factor whether you participate or not. Even if you put an event in the time slot that Queen Show is supposed to finish,
Right.
there are people who would choose not to go to Queen Show and jump on that event.
Mhm.
But if Queen Show is the only thing happening on that night, what do you
Right.
think? Well,
Well,
And here's what needs,
most people
and
would go.
here is an add-on to the conversation. I think what has happened over the years is that, Janice, for instance, you made reference to Queen Show. Queen Show has been promoted traditionally for a specific group of people. So
Right.
when we talk Queen Show, we don't expect the guys to be going, as they say, to be going to Queen Show, because we figure Queen Show is just for a special group.
No,
oh
I
no, they
love
can
Queen
get
Show.
dressed.
That,
They
that
can get dressed and go to Queen Show.
And that's my
Joseph,
point.
Joseph,
If
that's
we
the
if
best
we
show.
now start junior, if we now start promoting, as Janice said, when I go
Right.
to Queen Show, right? Queen Show is not because I like to see all these this I like Queen Show, but I go for an experience
Right.
that is outside of ladies being in swimwear and high heels on stage. I
Right.
go for an experience. So what we
Right.
need to start doing is repackaging the products
Right.
so that guys like you and I, Junior, can
Uh,
decide, why should Janice alone as a female want to go to Queen Show? Why can't we promote Queen Show that males as well could go to Queen Show?
right.
It can't just be. I think what we've done over the years is that society has evolved, but we've taken a traditional product
Hmm.
and while yes, we want to put it in a new wrap, we want to say we're going to rebrand it, but we've done nothing to the actual product itself. All
Right.
we've done is taken the cricks from a smaller bag, taken the product as it is, sorry, and we just put it in a bigger bag and say we have rebranded it.
And put on
But
a
what
pretty
have
label.
we? And we put on a pretty label. But
Right.
people know at the end of the day that when they go to quit up that particular event, this is what happens. And I'm saying that national events and any given day,
Right.
whether it's Spice Month or not, it must be given priority
Priority.
to any other event. Junior
Right.
in Little Grenada, there's 100,000 of us.
Right.
And that's where the market research has to come in.
Right.
So on an average day, how much people goes to look at what happens in Soca Mona, but look at what happens in Panorama. How much money does the winner gets for Panorama?
I don't.
Big bucks passes in Panorama.
Uh-huh.
But how much people are there in the national stadium?
But this year we've seen more turnout in Panorama than in previous years, I must say.
More non-Grenadians. You mean?
Well, I don't know. I didn't check the passport, but I know this year we had more people in Queen Show than in previous years, which goes to nine Queen Show in Panorama than in previous years. Which and that speaks true for almost all the events. We had more people in Soca Mona, obviously, than we did last year in 2022. Um, probably the biggest one I remember probably was 2019 or so.
But yes, but Junior, here, let me just butt in here. It is not just about saying we've had larger numbers. Our culture must first be sold to the people, the
Right.
nationals.
Yes.
Now, we may have a show, Janice, yes, and I have an event, and I see 20 persons attend, and I tell myself, yes, I got a good turnout.
Right.
But is that 20 persons visiting the country, or is that 20 Grenadians? The
Right.
dynamics must be able to speak for itself. If you
Right.
have Grenadians that's attended events,
Yes.
that's where the longevity of the product comes in. That's
Yeah.
where it actually comes in. And I don't think so. You must be able to dissect who's attending the shows. Is it
Right.
just Grenadians that comes here for a visit? Yes, for instance, we talk about all of this event, but we must be able to say, listen, at the end of the day, SpiceMass has to be able to determine I had 50,000 people in the stadium.
Right.
However, 30,000 are persons from outside, are visitors. that the question means. Every year, is it more Grenadians? Are Grenadians now interested in the event? Or is it an event that attracts just the non-nationals? I'm saying a bigger conversation has to happen, and I am getting wary, and I'm seeing the habit where these private promoters,
Right.
I have had friends, Janice, before I love you, that have said to me, and take for instance, we talked about Fancy Mass and what is
Right.
happening to Fancy Mass. Juve has its own dynamics, right?
Yeah.
When I finish
Sure.
Juve, I then have to worry about going to Fancy Mass,
Well,
right?
Monday
When
Worry,
I'm
where
worry. That's never a word for a masquerade. I'm Joseph. Worry? No, no, no,
no,
no.
maybe when I say
Rephrase.
worry,
Please rephrase.
I
Mhm.
now have to start planning. I have to now plan and get ready
No,
for.
no, no.
And this is the point that I'm making.
Joseph. No, Joseph. These events are
But
planned
hold on.
beforehand. You know,
Yes,
you're
but hold
leaving
on.
town at 9:30.
hmm
But hold on, Janice. The point I'm making is
9:30.
the success of
You're drinking one
Spice
Red Bull on the
Mass.
way up.
But hold on, hear me out. The success of those events is not just about the participants. This when I was a child and I went to carnival, there was the masqueraders. Janice played mass. Janice is playing mass. But there
Yeah.
was also the bystanders, the supporters who went there to be part of the event. All of that added to the culture and the flavor. And more, we are seeing less individuals participating. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't have the
Well,
empirical data, but
Yeah.
from where I sit, more and more people are getting into the fancy mass. Less and less people are getting into
true.
it, and there are reasons for that. The
hmm
same way you know what one of the elements that has forced that one Monday night mass. But get me, as I told Junior, there is no turning the clock on Monday night mass.
Right.
Monday night mass became a cheaper, more fun-filled event for a lot of
Alternative.
Grenadians and non-national. All I'm saying is that what has to be done is an overall conversation that involves the Spice Mass, those private entities that comes and you have a million run a cruise, and
Yeah.
people literally like they had to pay lotto to decide which event that they're going to. In Little Grenada, and when you finish, you still can't go home. All of those things are going to affect the product called Spice Mass. And I'm saying it calls for a national conversation that has to start now. Even with people like me,
Right.
because they would never ask me, Janice, Joe, what's your thoughts on Carnival? Because you think, well, Joe don't play Carnival.
Right.
But you might just be surprised. As a person sitting on the outside, I observe, it's like when you go in a rum shop and a fella's playing dominoes. The
Uh-huh.
man on the outside, he sees all the moves, Janice,
Yeah. He's on the
because you
outside looking in.
because you're on the outside. I'm
Yeah.
looking at.
Let me just
Looking
engage
in.
all guys. Let me just engage our viewers, guys. We're doing a conversation on the recently concluded Spice Mass, but we don't want to talk by ourselves too. We want to get you guys involved. So to jump in on the inside, you could call 718-701-5720. Number is right there on the screen. We want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are. What's your thoughts on the private promoted event? What's your thoughts on competing events for the national events? And about bringing more events to Spice Mass, making it more feasible, more flexible for people to go to various events. Let's get your thoughts on all of these things here. You could call in again. The number is on the screen. 718-701-5720. You could call in on WhatsApp, guys. You don't have to call straight. So you could call on WhatsApp and get your point of view in. Again, we're chatting here with Janice and Joseph Kador. And we're live. Yeah. Right. So guys, so let's just conclude on this so we could jump to the next part. Are we saying that Spice Mass should definitely set some kind of policy that says that during the carnival event there should be no competing events, not whatsoever, to the national events? That's what we say. Should be
That's
proposed.
not what I'm going to allow Janice to make her comment. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that events, there must be a management process that allows for what happens
Right.
during Spice Mass. Because remember, all of these events, permission has to be given.
That's what I was getting to. That's what I was getting to. So
Permission has to be given.
there is a
So you
management system.
can't. You can't give permission to Tom, Dick, and Harry. I'm saying there must be a management structure that allows for always ensuring that the national event takes precedence at any given time, at any given time of day.
Absolutely. All right, Janice, what's your take? And if you lose Janice, I think we lost
I
Janice
am
too.
agreeing with I am agreeing
Like, go ahead, Janice.
I am
Your signal
agreeing
kind of
with
dipping, but
Joseph here.
yeah. No, go ahead.
I think she's having some connectivity
Okay.
challenge.
Yeah, Janice having a connectivity challenge here. We're gonna try to reconnect with her. In the meantime, guys, I want you guys to be a part of the conversation. You could call the number on the screen 718-701-5720. That's 718-701-5720. All right, I think she's back. All right, Janice, go ahead.
So here's my take. I am agreeing with Joseph on this in terms of the national events taking precedence. Um, you can listen. A lot happens to the build up with the build up. All right. There is enough time and place and space for every event we want to have. There is.
Hmm.
But when it comes to the shows that are truly Grenadian, that promotes our culture, that the carnival is built on. The carnival wasn't built on white shows. The carnival wasn't built on black shows. The carnival wasn't built on Mudfest. The carnival was built on the National Queen Show. All of the celebration that's happening is built on the National Queen Show, the Calypso Monarch competition, the Groovy and Soca, Panorama. These are the staple events.
Yeah, but Janice, here's a problem that I have. Sorry to cut you, but what about Rainbow City? I from Grenville. I'm from Grenville, right? And Rainbow City have been dying a slow death. I think Rainbow City dead now. And I remember the days that Rainbow City in Grenville used to be the real thing. You know what I mean? And
It set the tone for what happened in
all
Carnival.
the things that
Yes,
was called there,
agreed.
right? It only reflect things that happen in St. George's. What about the outer parishes that have important events and things happening as well? We cannot
And
leave
and
Carnival
Junior,
that
I'm
only
agreeing
tongue.
with you here.
Yes.
I am agreeing with you
Uh-huh.
here in that the St. Patrick's Organization, Development Organization, and the St. Andrew's Development Organization used to have, in fact, they used to have Queen Show. The St. Andrew Queen used to be what on the night of Rainbow City, the Queen Show and Calypso competition used to
Yes.
happen. The craft of the parish, the foods of the parish, everything was on display until politics came into the mix, and some people didn't want to associate with some people and some people didn't want to work with some people. But I was telling someone today, just today, I was telling someone, I think it's time that the young brilliant minds in St. Andrew should come together, wrestle this organization back to life, resuscitate this organization, and make sure that Rainbow City I mean, Labe Carnival, Rainbow City, it was no joke.
That was
True,
Jambalasti.
It was no joke.
true.
And even in St. Patrick, even in St. Patrick, you have more kings in St. Patrick than the rest of the country combined. Why don't they have a vibrant build-up at the St. Patrick's Development Organization?
And Janice,
Where are the communities?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just to add to the conversation, I know because traditionally there's always a concern that the major events they've climaxed in St. George, and I know and that's a conversation that cannot be ignored. But the point that you made is relevant. Yes, 20, 30 years ago, Rainbow City Carnival, it set the tone for Carnival in St. George's.
Mm-hmm.
Of
It
course.
did. As a youngster growing up, you got a sense of how Carnival is going to feel, the energy and the fervor, based on what transpired from St. Andrew, based on what happened in the outer parish. But what has happened? Again, it's because we have sacrificed our culture for all these other secondary events. And don't get me wrong, and don't get Janice wrong, we have no issues with anybody wanting to get a piece of the pie. But which is the greater picture? Do we sacrifice our national heritage? And we talk about our young people that they don't have a sense of direction. They don't know anything. Why? When you went to Labe Carnival, what was Labe Carnival about? The culture, the norms, and the folklores of the society. Communities came together, as Janice was saying. When you have
had arts, crafts,
thank you.
all of it happened.
We have taken it away.
Everything was right there.
Right.
The products of St. Andrew were right there on display. The culture explained by pictures, by videos, and that was before we had social media. That was back in the days of Gentle Ben.
Correct.
Gentle Ben TV. We had the Carnival and Queen show happening in the market.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So the island came alive, and everybody wanted to see what St. Andrew were bringing to the table. You got a Carnival Queen out of that. You got a Calypso monarch out of that Rainbow City Festival. And then we allowed some people, some divisive people to come in and just some people just don't
Janice,
work well together.
No, Janice, let's not get cute with the English language and stay divisive. Bad-minded, wicked people that don't care. Don't get all fancy with the English language about the divisive.
I'm usually not diplomatic. I was trying to be diplomatic.
No, right. But bad-minded people. You remember the days when Specky was up in Labe, when he did Hurricane, and he took Labe first? And he said it in the song. He hit it Labe first, and then he coming down to tongue, because that was what Carnival was about. That was the tone.
That was the trend.
That was the trendsetter. We have lost those trendsetters. And look at what has happened to the ad form. Look at what has happened to the ad form.
Hold on. Joseph, go ahead.
Yeah. So look at what has happened to the ad form. And we've seen it over the years. And as though we try to be myopic about it. And instead of going back to the root cause, we try to put plaster on it and have another event here and have another event there. Look at what's going to be happening again. We are now getting into the conversation as to which Juve is bigger than the other. And that's going to create a problem just now. The Juve should not be about which one is bigger. The question should be, how do we all lend to the product that is Carnival? One element is Juve. Because what's going to happen? If you're not worried about St. David, what we should be doing now is that applauding what is happening in St. David.
Right.
But I've heard people complaining to me, Papa Banje, St. David want to take over Carnival. Like, seriously? And I know Janice is going to smile. But that should not be the issue. The issue should be, how do we get each of these parish, the individual parish, to be able to develop a product that can take on a national flavor, so that whether I go to Juve in St. George on Monday, or I go to it in St. David on Tuesday, or I decide to hop across to St. Andrew or to St. Patrick. We keep talking about decentralizing things. We want to decentralize the economy. We want to say we want to do development in St. Patrick. But what is there for them? There should be a national conversation. But Janice, it goes back to what happens at the community level.
Stick up in right there, guys.
It starts at
the community level.
Let's
get those groups on.
Caller live, we're calling us from.
Hi, I'm calling from Grenada. This is Dale Neptune calling.
Go ahead, caller.
Hi, Dale.
Hi, Dale.
Hi. No, I mean, I felt the urge that I really needed to call because I was very much a part of St. Andrew's Carnival, Rainbow City Festival, and when we planned, it was deliberate, right? People were very conscious about their community, about culture and the things that they did. So during the year, after festival would end, what we did, we used to go to different communities, Munich, Tivoli, all those areas, and those communities used to have their own little cultural activities. and the best groups will come to Rainbow City Festival. All right?
Mm-hmm.
And so each community looks forward to having the cultural activities. But sorry to say too, let me say that politics divided our communities. All right, and I make no apology for that. Sometime in
It is the
'95,
truth.
we all the communities had drama groups or cultural groups, they had debate groups, they had civic awareness groups, and you just named it. And when a certain party came in office, what they brought in was party support group. And so all these communities that had all the little things going, even cleanup campaign in the community, people were afraid to come out, and then they were saying, oh, I don't want to be part of this thing. I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to be part of that. And there started the demise of Rainbow City, because when we had preparing and Bylands preparing and Munich preparing, and not just with culture, but the exhibition, because we had communities coming out as a community to exhibit at Rainbow City Festival. So, for example, Munich will come out with a farin, the bang bang, everything cassava.
Yes.
Right? Tivoli will come out with the sort of food to do with sarapon and all of that. Right? You had people in Byland coming out with all the fashion and all fabric and what they made during the year, what the school made. They came with that. Right? And another thing is, kudos to Mrs. Benjamin and the Oli set. What they did, all the competitions that happened in the schools, whether all those little exhibition, the sewing, the craft, the food, they got a chance to come to display and exhibit and sell the stuff at Rainbow City. And so not only that, Rainbow City was governed by the Festival Act. The powers that be, when Rainbow City coming, the time is coming, what they do, the Festival Act, they publish it. And so no other festival, no other activity, no other person had permission outside of Rainbow City to put on any event.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so what that did for the parish was to have everybody culminating at Grenville.
Yes.
That's what happened here. But what we noticed then, permission was given to other people, despite they publishing the Festival Act and say Rainbow City is the one who have the only permission. As a matter of fact, the police we used to work with the police. One time, even for licenses or the little vendors on the street, they had to come to us to get a stamp to go to the courthouse. And that's how things were controlled. The alcohol was controlled, the lawless was because we gave the police a list of all who's supposed to be selling food, all who's supposed to be selling what. And so things were controlled, and people, and not to say we control people movement, but then you know what is happening, right? And so that's the demise of that. And not only that, St. Andrew's Carnival, St. Andrew's Development Committee held the biggest calypso show and the biggest queen show. And so the whole nation went to see Moon for these two shows. And they set the trend. As a matter of fact, it used to even be better than the Mashra and National Queen Show.
So it's safe to say.
To get back where we are,
it's safe to say that politics mash up the thing.
Yes.
Politics.
I call it divisiveness.
And
However,
let me just say too. Let me before I go, let me just say that I heard over when the guys were preliminaries and the voice was sung in Rusty and everybody were making comments. Remember, we had Festival of the Arts. Janice, you and I used to go competition. You were in St. David's. I was in Convent in Grenville. You and Janice, Charles, and it was competition, right? And so we had time to voice train. I used to spend hours on Saturday in Donchal studio singing. We had a radio program. We used to record on Saturdays to play it the next week on the radio station. And so school children had something to practice to go to. And so by the time they get to Carnival for Junior Monarch and us, they voice were trained by Miss Ramdani and all the other people, Bosco and all of those people who were involved. Those guys singing now have no previous platform to go practice their voice and for somebody to say, hey, you need some
Not
more
even how
voice
to hold a
training.
mic
The only
properly.
platform they have, exactly, you know?
Yeah.
So we need to go back and hope that the Ministry of Culture, now with the government, they have to have some teeth and go back and start bringing back the Festival of the Arts, start bringing back the drama in the school and across the board. Today I was watching Jamaica and I almost cried because we were there already watching Jamaica and all the school children and the community doing arts festival. And we were there a long time, and Janice know that we were in this thing together, right? And so we need to
Yes,
bring
we
back the
were.
Festival of the Arts as a start
Yes.
and then get the young people involved. All right, so that's my 2 cents.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Thanks,
much.
Dale.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
You know,
Uh,
she spoke.
So we get back
yeah.
to the community.
Yeah.
And listen,
It
guys,
has to start in the
and the
community.
community conversation goes beyond just carnival. We talk about
Of
we talk
course.
about crimes. We talk about what is a proliferation of our young people. That seeming misguidedness, the way this we chide them for not having a sense of direction. Well, if we want them to, then we know what needs to be done. But the question is, are we committed to the task? But what has happened, Janice, that there are individuals out there that have sacrificed country and more interested in lining their pockets
Yeah.
with with dollars and cents. It's all about filthy lucre. No longer does people come together, Junior, and say, "I want to do this in the country." So you ask them to do something. How much you paid me?
Yeah. You're right.
I mean, and Dale made reference to um what's it? The one he just left me again.
Arts, fe-
Arts
Arts
Festival.
Festival?
Yeah.
Listen, we
Yes.
all went through Arts Festival. We all went through Arts Festival. I used to sing in choirs. I Arts Festival prose reading. Somebody was asking me, "Well, Joe, why did
Joseph, I don't remember you in Arts Festival.
Janice, please, Janice, please, Janice, please, Janice, please." When you all come down to GBSS, we used to keep you all in one little corner. But those are the
No,
things that people will ask. But hold on, because when you have to do prose reading and all of these sort of
of course.
things, it worked. So you got to appreciate the dynamics of the English language. Put your tongue between your teeth, and when you and you got those constant practice all during the year. You were
Yeah.
either in a drama
Not only
class,
not only that, I learned to read for Arts Festival.
correct, correct.
I learned to speak the way I speak now
We are
because we were
Arts
always
Festival,
getting ready for Arts Festival.
Yeah.
always.
And when I remember once in the studio while training, we just got into YSFM and we're training. Hamlet Mark is training us. And he gives you a script to read. And the moral of the story is every paragraph in that news script is supposed to tell an entire story.
Right,
So at any point the conversation ends, your mic cuts off. The listener is able to take away what the story was about.
correct.
And we would be reading, and Hamlet would get a cigarette lighter and light the bottom of the script. Light the bottom of the script. You know what that did for us? We were able to read in a controlled manner because fire blazing under your finger. I have to get away from fire blazing under your finger while you're reading your news script. You have to keep a straight face. You can't panic. And you have to tell the story. I was telling somebody the other
Tell the
day,
story.
Hamlet said, even if you are not convinced, You tell the story, and if we need to apologize after, we will apologize after.
But you tell the story.
But you say it with
Yes.
conviction.
Correct.
Yes. Yes.
Correct.
So these are things we were taught getting into Arts Festival. These are stories that we were told while we were in training. All right? So when we blame, a lot of times when we blame the youth, we have no reason to blame them,
True.
enough,
It's us.
because they don't know
Yeah.
better.
They don't.
True.
It's
They
true.
don't know better.
True. I want to come back. I want to come back full center on the this
I was just about to ask you what we came here to talk
this
about
particular
again.
spice mass, and I want to touch on one other thing because we have limited. I know we had limited time with Joseph. I don't know Joseph's time expired yet, but let's talk about this part right here, the mass, right? The pretty mass, right? Because a lot of people complained this year about too much ass, too much Bamsi showing.
I need a charger. If I don't get a charger, I go fall off. So go ahead. I'm gonna go get a
Yeah,
charger.
yeah. Is it? And
And
this is the question. Is it that it's demand, right? It's like the bands are presenting it because they know that people want it, and or is it that the other way around, right? Do you think if they were not to bring these tongues and very sexy and string underwears and stuff like that, they would get less participants? What's your thoughts on it, Joseph? Let's go with you first, Mister.
Junior, in any contract, there is first offer and acceptance.
Yeah.
Somebody offers, there's an acceptance. Now, at the end of the day, the parent is the one that dictates. The owners of the events, we are the ones to dictate and determine what we want. Now, we always say, well, because the general public is only going to gravitate towards that which is presented to them.
Uh-huh.
If we control and design the product, and yes, I understand that we live in a society where there are varied tastes and appetites for different things.
Yes.
However, the question must be asked ultimately: what is our intention? Is it that we want to mimic something that reflects something on the outside, or are we want to create an environment or a product that is unique? Here's what's going to happen, Junior.
Mm-hmm.
If Grenada's Carnival is more about putting your assets on the outside,
Uh-huh.
you know what's going to happen?
All right.
Nobody's going to bother with Grenada anymore. They may easier go to some other country, go to
Right.
Brazil, or
Yeah.
one of these other countries where literally
Mm-hmm.
you can live it up. What we attempted to do is to compete with other territories and feed people things. And I'm not saying an individual is free to wear whatever they may choose to, what they may want to wear. But Grenada as a country, and we still maintain that we are a Christian nation. We still adhere to certain values. But some what I see is blunt hypocrisy.
Yes.
Blunt hypocrisy. Because it is okay to talk about we are a Christian nation. It is okay to say we adhere to certain principles. But
Yes.
then come Carnival, we seem to throw caution, all our moral values, they go out the window.
Yes.
And then we want to tell our children how to behave and how not to behave. How can you tell me how to behave and not to behave? How can you then want me to look up to you when I see you Juve morning, literally in the street, naked, and then Wednesday? You see, the challenge is in bigger territories, you may get away with it, Janice.
Yeah.
You may get away with it because after that, I'm not going to see you at all. But the same people that's in tongue Monday morning, walking around almost naked.
Is your teacher and your banker
Thank you, Janice. I'm going.
and your doctor?
All right,
And your
Janice,
doctor.
Janice, what's your thoughts on the scantily clad?
We have to be more measured. We must be more measured as a people.
What's your take, Janice?
Say that again. I missed the question. I was
Okay,
looking
no.
for a
In
charge.
reference to there have been a lot of controversial remark on the types of costumes, the sexy and revealing aspects of these costumes. The sexy in particular, I've seen a lot of them. People talking about it. I personally don't have a problem with it. Personally, I don't have a problem with it. I'd say that, right? What's your take on it? Do you think that it comes at the demise of Spice Mass?
Um, as a masquerader myself, I don't have a problem with what a person chooses to wear for carnival. Um, I when I got to the point where I can tell you what happened to me
Mm-hmm.
prior to Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
I would drop on the ground and roll.
Right.
After Brandon, I I think I became more a little more conservative
Right.
while playing mass, knowing that one day my son may see something on the everlasting internet that he's gonna ask me about.
Right.
So I think it comes down to a person's moral compass.
Right.
If you think you can put on a song and play mass and then walk into the classroom Monday morning and earn your respect, more power to you. If you think you could go on the Bam Bam wall, well, Grenada don't have a Bam Bam wall. But if you think,
The nice one is a Lucia.
right, if you think you can pull that off and go to work as a professional the next day, and hey, more power to you. I have no problems with what a person chooses to wear for carnival. If you can deal with it, if you can live with it, if your moral compass allows it, then fine. I would probably not go as far as the thong, but I would wear most of what they're wearing.
Yeah.
Um, um, it comes down to an individual decision. These are grown folks we're dealing with. These are not children.
Yeah.
And if a big woman want to split in the street, whole day carnival Monday and Tuesday, and she can't face her peers and her boss on Wednesday, then hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
it comes down to moral.
What you said there, it makes a lot of sense because again, we're dealing with adults, right? We're
We're
dealing with
dealing with
adults,
grown-ups.
grown people,
Yeah.
and you cannot regulate it. Um, I,
Someone sent me a picture last night of a young lady bent over in Monday wear. And hold on, I need to talk about Monday wear. Even if my battery dead, I talking about Monday wear me alone.
yes. Okay.
And you can literally see her vajayjay.
Wow.
She bend over and it twists, and you can literally see her vajayjay. If she can face her children, her parents, her lover, her husband, her employees tomorrow, more power to you, mama.
Mm-hmm.
It comes down to how what a person can live with, what a person can deal with, what a person chooses, the decisions you make in life. We always need to know that there will be repercussions.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could deal with it, then fine.
Right.
Now, Junior, I need to make a point on this Monday wear.
Okay, go ahead.
Quickly. Grenada's carnival falls smack dab in the middle of the hurricane season. Trinidad carnival that introduced Monday wear is in February or March.
Uh-huh.
They could afford to spend $4,000 and $9,000 and $12,000 for a costume and wing it one day with the hope that they're gonna get sun the next day to wear carnival, to wear their costume. In Grenada, we're not that fortunate.
Right. And we see
Because
a lot of
carnival
rainfall this year. A lot of rainfall this year.
smack that. Imagine if that rain had fallen for the whole day.
Yeah.
How many people would not have gotten to wear their costume?
Mm-hmm.
That was not good advice. Whoever gave that Monday wear advice, that wasn't good advice. Get her back. Give back that advice.
So you're saying that they should have parade both days?
Junior, we're accustomed to having parade both days. 2 days out of the year, you get an opportunity to wear your costume and masquerade.
Right.
It's not about wearing makeup and masquerade. It's not about wearing a swimsuit and masquerade. Wear your costume, your feathers, your plumes, your stockings, it all rolls into one. You cross the stage, the judging point for pageant on Monday with the king and queens of the band. And then you parade the street. And then you go home all tired, only to take off your clothes and run back in Monday night mass.
Yeah.
Right? And then get ready for Tuesday last lap on the road. Tuesday is just last lap. For real masqueraders, Tuesday is just last lap. Tuesday is when you go out there and just leave it all out.
All right, so we lost Janice there, but she was making some great points. Janice, you're back. Okay, yeah. Oh, we lost her again. All right. Oh, she's back again. All right, let me bring her back in.
Sorry, Tuesday is when you go out there and just leave it all out there. But
Right.
Monday is the day when you go out in your costume and you enjoy it. Monday is the day when you're fresh and you're looking forward to your pictures and your friends and you're eating and drinking and enjoying the carnival. Monday is day one of Fancy Mass.
Onika is
When-
saying with the same costume?
Huh?
Onika is saying with the same costume though?
Oh wow, they're really new to Fancy Mass. They're really very new to Fancy Mass.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Unfortunately, some of the costumes that are now as part of the package, they can't last 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
They won't survive 2 days. And I think that's the problem. But the real costumes from Comancheros and Helen Marie and Associates and Andre Garvey and Associates and Peter Bain and what you call the man down in Belmont down there? These costumes survive 2 days of masquerading.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, you can take off your headpiece and hand it to one of the children eagerly awaiting a piece of your costume to bring to school, to bring home as their memory of carnival.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
Monday wear thing. One of these days, he will catch all you off guard and all you won't get to wear all your costume.
Yeah, the rain almost fell for the whole day. So let's move on to this because I know we kind of short on time. But I want to speak about some of the biggest winners in
The
Carnival.
biggest winners.
Biggest winners.
Yes.
Who are your biggest winners for this year?
I congratulate Tara. I congratulate Rootsman Kelly. I congratulate Boise. I congratulate what's her beautiful queen's name again?
Mr. David?
Miss and David. I
Yeah.
congratulate the Panorama winners. But personally, for me, you're asking my personal opinion, right?
Yes.
My personal wins are Golden out of Carriacou, who's been doing this amazing job for the longest while the Grenadian judges ignored him. And I keep telling people, you did not get the best of Golden in 2023. When Golden sang Destiny in 2017, I think he was at his peak game
Yeah.
with Destiny. Destiny will always be a sweeter groove than In My Head. So to me, the biggest winners, I would say Golden, because now the world has heard his voice. They'll never forget his.
All right, we lost Janice again. All right, so let me give you guys my pick for the biggest winners this year, right? I mean, we all know that Boise is and has been, a season campaigner for all these years. So it was no shock that Boise won the Groovy. Big up to Boise. But my biggest winner for this year is Rubulus. Is it Rubulus, the farmer? This man has been knocking on the doors for many, many years. Although he didn't win the Soca Monarch or the Groovy, he won Road March. He came second in the Power. So think about it. He came from almost nowhere and he came second in the Groovy. That to me is one of the biggest winners for this year. He shocked everyone because I remember during the preliminaries, the prelims, right? During the prelims, when people heard the song initially, People was laughing after the song. People was making jokes after the song, only to find out the guy came in, and we keep telling people, all you listen, all you just listen, just keep listening to the track, just keep listening to the track. People listen to the track over time. It became the biggest track for 2023, right? So the farmer, that particular guy, that particular song is going to now tour the world, if it's not touring the world already. And I think he's one of the biggest winners. He won Road March this year together with Temptress, but I think the farmer, hold him, grab him, is one of the biggest winners for this year. My personal take. What's yours? 718-701-5720, guys. We're doing a whole wrap up on SPICEMAS 2023, and I was pleasant, not pleasantly. No, I'm not gonna. No, let me don't say that. But I agree with Janice that Mr. Golden, it was his time. It is his time. Mr. Golden has been, he has been doing this in Carriacou, been singing in Carriacou for many, many, many years. And it seems like he was just doing this in vain. And I'm happy that, he was really recognized this year. Let's go to the phone lines. Call live, where you calling us from? Hello? 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 Caller, load on your background. Caller, load on your TV, whatever you're listening to me on, load that down and talk to me on the phone lines.
Hello?
Yeah, go right ahead, sir. Talk to me on the phone lines.
Hello?
Yes, caller, go right ahead.
Yes, I'm from Orlando, Florida. I watched this show, and I thought Mr. Palmer was so inspirational. But not only did he come second in Soca Groovy, I think he won the match outright. If the people who judged the show went to set Golf, Grenville, Sates, that song was playing 5-1 to the song that lady tied him with. So he should have been only number one. He should have been the only number one, and I appreciate that.
You're talking about the farmer?
And the second thing I want to say, the girl from Carriacou.
Yes.
Was something she sang in the Calypso show. The lady from Carriacou.
Superstar?
She should have this.
Superstar?
Superstar.
Yes.
Superstar did a major delivery of both songs, and I think she was robbed.
Okay.
And I have to say something, for some reason, during the Soca Bona the Calypso, they never give women the credit, and they always sit on Carriacou. That's my take on it.
Thank you so much, caller. Appreciate your input on this. 718-701-5720, guys.
Okay,
that's my
you.
number. Call me. Let me know what's your take. Who was the biggest winners this year? Who was the biggest winners? And what was the biggest surprise? What was your biggest surprise in 2023? Yeah? 718-701-5720, guys. This is the song I was talking about. This is the farmer. In case you guys never heard it. Okay, probably you guys not hearing. But anyway, guys, this song is a big tune. All right, big tune. 718-701-5720. Call us and let us know who are some of your biggest, who are some of your favorite in 2023. What are some of your major surprises, if there were any surprises this year for you? And what are some of the things that you think that SPICEMAS Corporation could do to better the product, if there are any, right? I'm sure that they might be watching and listening and would take heed to some of the recommendations. Yes? 718-701-5720. We're taking your calls for the next 5 minutes. Open line, guys. Let's talk. 718-701-5720. Let's take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we got more calls coming up. Don't move. And we're back. Nice and short and sweet. Yeah, guys, it was a long season. It was a long season. Long, long, long season, guys. All right, I get your point of view. I get your point of view. All right, guys, listen. We're going to cut it right here. Yes. The next time you see me, guys, I'll be back in my New York studio, not fighting with the bugs and the flies and the other biting insects that is invading my space whenever they see light. Also want to say big up and respect to the Monday Night Mass winner, Golden Promotion. She won Monday Night Mass. Also, the two road match winners, we had the Farmer, and then we also had Temptress. All right, big up to Temptress and the Farmer. All the winners this year. Big up. They all played a big role in making SPICEMAS successful this year. And one of the other biggest winners for the year, guys, is the RGPF. Big up and kudos to the RGPF. They did and continue to do a great job. There was basically no act of violence in the carnival season. There was nothing. Very, very, very nothing to talk about whatsoever. And keep in mind, guys, you're talking about Monday Night Mass when it is dark night. Nothing. You're talking about Juve, where man playing mass with chain and all kind of thing. Nothing, right? So big up to the RGPF for maintaining and keeping the peace here in Grenada for this carnival season. You know, when they do bad, we have to talk about them. But when they do good, you have to compliment them. Big up the RGPF. Great job this year. They were very, very present. They was out on the street doing their searches. The RGPF did a great job this year, and kudos to them on that. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for being a part of our program today. We appreciate you so much. Again, the next time you see me, I shall be back in New York City, and I'll be happy to be back as well. And I'll be back in Grenada in just about 2 weeks after again. So I'll be back here in Grenada again very, very soon. Got some stuff to take care of in Miami. Miami, I'm coming to you. Tampa, I'm coming to you. And we're also going to be in London. A lot. I want to see all the fans and supporters out there as well. Good night, guys. Catch you guys. Tomorrow we'll have a programming on, but the next time you'll see the live program, it will be next week. All right? Kudos, bye-bye, and good night.
It's the 4th edition of Hubbard's Live Free for 1 year promotion. Cuatro Punto Cero. It's unbelievably amazing. You can win free fuel, free drinks, cash prizes, free property and vehicular insurance, free cable, TV and internet, free electricity, free coke, free water, free cooking gas, free paint supplies, free passes to Sunshine Promotion events for 2023, free groceries, all for 1 whole year. And every winner receives a lunch package. Be sure to fill out the entry forms and enter it into the marked entry boxes at all Hubbard's departments and at participating outlets. Promotion runs from April 1st to September 30th, 2023. Draws will be held every 2 weeks. Terms and conditions apply.
Spice Alcohol Grenada. Join us every Sunday at 7 p.m. Grenadian time for our weekly educational program on Grenada's history, heritage, and culture. Stream live on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Island Learning Grenada.